Hey everybody, thanks for joining me this great morning. On this call, we have three amazing people that I have the privilege of actually calling friends, and these are people that I've gotten to get to know better over the last 5 years through YOLI. So I want to quickly introduce you guys to these three amazing people. These are three of YOLI Nation's almost top docs in the field. These individuals all run and operate very successful practices in their local areas. They are truly experts and have obviously tons of knowledge, not only on the YOLI products, but just health in general. And we're so lucky to have them on board. Obviously I'm not a scientist. So whenever we get to hear from people like you guys that validate the science and the credibility of our products, it's always a reassuring thing. Again, we're lucky enough to have all three of you guys on the same call. I mean, of course, you guys know, over the last few weeks as we were trying to plan this, it's been pretty hard trying to get all three of you guys on at the same time, to do this call because you guys are so busy. So we have Dr. Mike, who's joining us obviously from Orange County, California. Angie, I believe you're out in Arizona right now, correct? And Aaron, you're out in Iowa. So again, we're so grateful to have you guys all on board. 3 different time zones, 3 different locations, obviously 3 completely separate responsibilities and schedules. But again, we're so grateful that you guys are on board. And I know that anybody who is watching this video is going to just get a lot of value out of it. And I'm excited to kind of host this sort of panel this morning for you guys. We have a large amount of questions and obviously products to get through. So we're going to jump right into it. But the first question I want to kind of warm up with you guys is, obviously, like as I said, individually, you guys are all experts in your own fields. I know you guys specialize in different areas, and you guys are obviously very successful in what you do. As sort of experts, health experts and health practitioners, what kind of turned you on to YOLI? You know what I mean? What made you say, yes, I'll not only endorse these products, but I'm going to actually share and recommend these to my patients, my friends and family, and ultimately, of course, yourself as well. So I guess we'll start with Mike, and then we'll go through Angie and Aaron. Mike, can I ask you first, what kind of turned you on to YOLI, and why as a professional do you get behind this brand?
So for me, I'm all about simplicity. And the more that I can simplify things, the better. And it's also best for patient compliance. So when I saw YOLI, I saw it as a simplification of all the things that I was already recommending to patients, especially on the alkalization realm. But for me, alkalization was done by utilizing a lot of dark green leafy vegetables, and patient compliance to get their pH levels to change through that was very low because they had to eat like almost 33 pounds of spinach or some ridiculous amount to even just budge their pH levels to get to where it needs to be. So patient compliance was very, very low. And when I saw the better body system and all the other components surrounding that, it was very, very condensed, So when I looked at it, it may look like just 4 products, 4 separate bottles, but it's actually way more than that, 70, 80 different things that I would personally be giving and recommending to patients that now I didn't have to. So now, when a patient comes into the office and then they're given 80 bottles, they're not going to want to do that. And if I just give them a box and has 4 products, the patient compliance is way, way higher there. And then, that's, for me, that was the biggest part. But the second, right below that was the product efficacy and looking at the ingredients and all that stuff and making sure that it didn't contain a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't want. And
Sure.
when we marry those two, it was a winner for me.
Awesome. Dr. Angie, same question to you. What initially, when YOLI was introduced to you, what kind of turned you on, and what as an expert allowed you to get behind it really confidently to share with obviously your friends, family, and your clients?
Really, for me, it was the fact that we were focusing on pH and starting to alkalize the body, which was, like Mike said, talked about it in practice, really hard to really accomplish that objection. So when we went out to a conference and really did the due diligence and met the founders and met the doctors and the science formulators, it was just super impressive that it addressed the 5 pillars of health, which we'll be getting into, and just really a comprehensive approach and lifestyle change. Also, of course, results speak. I was able to lose 15 pounds in my first month doing it, got off coffee, got my energy back. So I was, I was like all in. So
Yeah. Very, very cool. And Aaron, again, as an expert, what got you turned on to YOLI?
I'd say very similar. For me, it was initially just the results of a patient that was doing it. I'd never heard of it before. And my patient had like some crazy, amazing results. And that's what piqued my interest initially. I wasn't really looking for anything like these two other docs. We were already doing high level stuff, getting great results with people. Like Mike said, though, always when we're looking at high level health, compliance, being able to follow through, being able to get sustainable results is always tough. And I saw a woman who was a patient of mine who had struggled, who had tried very hard doing some other very high level things, just blow results out of the water with YOLI. So that opened my mind to checking it out. And then when I did, that's when you see the simplicity. So really high level, well formulated supplements, covering the bases, put together with a real food eating plan that focuses on quality versus quantity, really simple, like Dr. Mike said, just keeping it easy for people, and then just seeing it play out in the fact that it's something that people can do, will do, and can sustain, which is significantly different than other powerful health systems out there. That was the biggest thing for me. And then when I dove deep in doing my due diligence and vetting the company and vetting the products, just meeting the other docs and hearing their results, and also just seeing they're hitting the big concepts. They're hitting pH, gut health, adrenal health, hormone metabolism, oxidative stress, lean body mass, all those things that we look to do and try to accomplish, are happening in this one little transformation kit, and it's happening consistently over age ranges, socioeconomic ranges, education ranges, and it's just, to me, it's the most powerful tool I've ever dealt with. So it's amazing that way.
Awesome. And just to clarify, when I heard two of you guys use the word compliance. In the context of compliance from patients, you're just talking about the fact that your patients can actually go home and do it and follow through with doing it.
People who start will actually follow through to the end.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Because a lot of times we get, assigned to take certain things or change a lifestyle regimen. And of course your patients go home and they do it for 1 or 2 days and then it fizzles out or it's too hard to do. We hear about these extreme either diets or cleanses, and as great as they are, not a lot of people can follow through on it because it's extreme changes, correct?
Yeah. And it also tastes like crap. So,
yeah, that's
exactly.
true. YOLI doesn't.
Yeah,
YOLI tastes good.
Right. I'll tell you right now, not as a health expert, that's a high priority for me. And I know maybe it's not the best priority, but I've gone through my life being recommended a ton of products. But if taste is not right up there, and again, I know it's not probably the highest priority for some of you guys, it's hard for me as a patient, as a client to really do that. And again, you're right, YOLI definitely nails that out of the park. So guys, thank you so much for answering that. Now, again, I know some of you guys kind of hinted on it, but really quickly, I want to ask you guys, and we'll do it in a reverse order. We'll start with Aaron, Angie, and Mike. I want to ask you guys, what makes YOLI different? And I know some of you guys already touched on the ideas like simplicity, compliance, but even if, addressing all the 5 pillars of health, but if you guys can kind of highlight maybe one thing that makes YOLI different from, again, there's probably a lot of people that are, struggling, trying to find options. I mean, we know as consumers, we have a ton of options. We have, our gyms and our Zumbas, I know spin cycling classes are getting popular. Then there's all these fad diets and programs, and there's number counting and calorie counting, and there's just so many things out there. And I know for an average person, it's really easy to quickly dismiss YOLI as just another sort of weight loss product. Now, I know we definitely stress that we are truly about optimal health, and we understand that. But what makes YOLI, to somebody who's just kind of just browsing, what can we tell them about YOLI that just quickly makes it different from anything else out there in the field? So we'll start with Aaron.
I would just say the word impact. And I think that from that standpoint, YOLI as something that gives us high-level science, high-level products like you would find in a functional medicine practice or a health practitioner's office, combined with very simple, easy-to-follow action plans and lifestyle change as it applies to food. You put all that together, people actually can do it. So from Joe Blow, who lives on Budweiser's and Big Macs, can make a change into YOLI and really see success without feeling like they're upending their life. But it's also appropriate for high-level athletes who are already living super clean, and it covers the spectrum because it's foundational and because it's something that people will do, and as they do over time, just subtly change their lifestyle without having to feel overwhelmed by it. And that goes for wherever you're at, wherever you come in. And then I feel like the culture of YOLI is really about helping people. It's about fun. It's about achievement and helping people achieve goals and see what life success and personal development is. And then it's about the science. So I think we cover all of those things. And so YOLI is one of the only things I've ever seen that puts all of that together in something that the average person can do and can sustain over time.
Very cool. Angie, what makes YOLI different than what you see out there in the sort of the consumer space?
Honestly, I would say it starts with the products and results. So it is way more than just a product, but the products that YOLI has put out there into the field are yielding amazing results. So I think when it really comes down to it, people want results. They want to know that what they're taking is worth their time, their effort, their money. And I would say that makes it different. The other thing is I love the fact that when I was first, deciding whether I wanted to do this or not, that we get to eat real food.
Yeah.
Not just products, but you also are incorporating to teach people lifestyle skills, and also to teach their families how to cook, how to eat different, how to look at labels, how to differentiate a healthy carb versus a bad carb, that carbohydrates actually turn into sugar, so we're educating people. I would say that's another big thing. And then obviously, as Dr. Aaron mentioned, just the support. It is way more than just picking up a product off of a shelf or buying a product off of, an online marketing thing. You get the support that you need when you are making a new change in your life and a transition. So it was the taste, that it actually tastes good. And it was the fact that we get to eat real food and we are getting the results. You can feel results literally in a matter of the first day to 3 days of taking the products and starting on the system. So it's pretty profound.
Awesome. I think that's awesome. The whole idea of support. I heard a YOLI member once share, you're not just buying this box, I come with that box, you know what I mean? And obviously with that comes, the thousands of people through the online support groups, obviously you guys as experts, that really is something that's priceless, and it really is an immense value on top of course, the products that already work. So that's awesome. All right, Mike, what about you? What is that thing that makes YOLI different from everything else that you see out in the field?
Yeah, to kind of touch on, like what Angie said, the support system is huge. That's why you look at all these different things like Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers. It's part of a support system, and then what YOLI jumps off on top of that is giving you these amazing blends. And that's really when I first saw it and I looked at these blends, my initial thought was there's no way you can make these blends taste good, because if you ate these things by itself, it tastes terrible. But somehow they made it palatable. And when I looked at the blends, the way I equated it's kind of like a symphony. I love listening to symphonic music, and you enjoy that. And the same thing with these blends, it's like a symphony of nutrients. But sometimes in a symphony, if you extract just one player, one instrument, it sounds terrible by itself. It's like, you don't want to necessarily hear a flugelhorn, by itself. It's not entertaining. But when you put it together in a symphony, it fills all of those gaps, and you have this full spectrum of sound. So like a symphony, you enjoy the symphony as a whole, not by its individual parts. And it's the same thing with the system. You have all of these different ingredients that have a singular impact that's way, way greater than just taking it by its individual selves. And that's what I love. And that's what I feel the blends really sets it apart.
Wow, that's awesome. I think that's the first time I've ever heard somebody use the analogy of a symphony to describe the synergistic effects of the YOLI product. That was really awesome.
I don't even know what a flugelhorn is.
I don't either. I'm going to Google what a flugelhorn is after. I feel like it's something that Goofy would use.
I think you made it up.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, one thing that I want to kind of kick things off with, Aaron, I know I've heard this, you shared this in previous keynotes. You talk about these things called the 3 E's, which I know you've kind of coined those terms, but I know all three of you guys really kind of stand behind it, because that's essentially what you guys are all doing out in the field, whether you guys are doing, you know, podcasts, Facebook live trainings, whether you guys teach at our local events. So Aaron, can you really quickly go over for our viewers what the 3 E's are?
Yeah. So, and I think YOLI, it just lives the 3 E's. And so the 3 E's, when it comes to this, and when we present, we call it the education, the empowerment, and the equip. So educating, empowering, and equipping people to have success in life and its success with their health. And what we're doing right now is educating. That's really what we want to do, is give people the knowledge and the basic understanding of things that they can have to go out and make an informed decision in the world. The next step, and hopefully by the end of this call, will empower and inspire people to want to take action based off of that information they've gained. And those two things are really important, because it's hard to make informed decisions without the appropriate information. And there's so much misinformation in the world. And I think all three of us really feel strongly and passionately about giving really good information in a fun and entertaining way. And then hopefully, like I said, inspiring you to do something. All the education in the world is basically worthless if you don't apply it. Mm-hmm. And so once you're inspired, then you got to go out and take the action. And that's where most people drop the ball. Mm-hmm. How do you move from being educated and having some new knowledge, being inspired to take action off that knowledge, but then what do you do? And this is where people go out and they do all sorts of crazy stuff with good intentions. And I feel like YOLI embodies the equip part of that scenario. So we're educate, empower, equip. The equip is what really matters, because that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where application occurs, and that's where results happen. And YOLI, with its transformation kit and its other beautifully said symphony of products, really is the ultimate tool to equip people to make a big jump forward with their health and their life in general. We transform lives in many ways, and YOLI really is, in my opinion, the ultimate tool that finally equips people to have success where they may have failed before, or where they wouldn't be able to have success with the multitude of other things out there. YOLI gives them the complete symphony to do that.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, we're going to kind of dive into the full product line. You know, if we were doing this training 3 years ago, 4 years ago, this training would probably get through in about 15 minutes, because our product line was a lot more condensed. Over the last, of course, 3 to 4 years, we've added some, you know, amazing products. Each one, I'm sure, that benefits the symphony in a very specific way. And it really tries to complete, I mean, YOLI is really about optimal health, right? We want to cover the body from head to toe, from shoulder to shoulder. We want to give your body everything you need. So, you know, I've heard the R&D guys talk about this. I've heard you guys, I know you guys give a lot of input as well. We talk about, we don't want any just useless products. We're not just here to sell just another product with another SKU simply to sell, right? We're here because these products each have a very important purpose in the system of protecting our body. So we're going to kind of go through in no specific order. I'm going to kind of call out some products, and I want you guys to kind of just really kind of give us an overview on the products. You know, maybe some key active components that are really kind of good to know, some really cool facts. I know you guys have shared this stuff before at your keynotes, and some things to kind of how it kind of, maybe some application points too, you know, some stuff like maybe like that we could kind of remember how to use these products, when to use these products, what it's great for, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and start with, of course, YOLI's flagship product. Of course, that would be Alkalite. We all know that this is sort of the keystone to kind of what we do. And like you guys have mentioned earlier, it really is the thing that separates us away from most health companies that are out there, because we're addressing body pH. So I'm going to leave it open to you guys. Who wants to tackle and who wants to share on what Alkalite is and what makes it so special?
Go, Angie.
Okay, I'll start. I love Alkalite. I honestly think that it was a missing piece in my regimen and also in my practice. As soon as I started getting patients on it, I just started seeing a lot better results, especially with all sorts of, you know, body issues and conditions. But at the core of it, you guys, it's minerals. And minerals bring life back to the body. And they're special minerals put together in a very special formula. So they get in there and they can help facilitate your body chemistry to go back to its natural balance, which the modern life and stress and poor diet and sugar and fast food gets us out of balance. So it pushes your body back towards balance, and it starts changing the body chemistry, and it starts getting rid of a lot of the biochemical reactions that have gone bad that causes your symptoms that you feel. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, my version.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And can anyone have anything else that they want to share on Alkalite itself?
So whenever I look at the body, I always like to simplify things. So I look at everything, and to oversimplify things, I always look at everybody's body as a battery. That's basically what our bodies are. And if you guys remember, like the Duracell or Energizer Bunny, it was an alkaline battery. Right? So whenever you want a highly charged battery, it's in its highest alkaline state. And then when you deplete that, it's in its most acidic state. And whenever you have this change in this pH level, you switch energy levels. So as we age, what happens is that we start to decrease our level of energy exchange. And then when that happens, you tend more towards being acidic. So every single metabolic process in your body creates acidic waste. And we have all these natural systems in our body, like our bones, our ligaments, we have our kidneys, our lungs, that help to curb all that. But as we get older, those systems often fail, or they don't work as effectively. So that's why, when I first saw Alkalite, I was like, this is literally a game changer for my practice. And it has been, with tons and tons of patients that have been on it.
Awesome. Aaron, anything that you want to add on Alkalite?
Just very well said. I think that in modern culture and in Western culture that we live in, our metabolic processes are being taxed in ways they've never been. And as such, at younger and younger ages, where our bodies are having to do more to keep up with its normal self. So our body is equipped to handle pH. It's supposed to handle things, but our body is using massive amounts of resources of its own building blocks to do that. And something like Alkalite comes along and just really helps give back and make the body more efficient in its controlling its own pH levels, especially at the body level. And when we're talking about trending towards acidic in our interstitial fluid, moving towards a thing called metabolic acidosis, which you can have lifestyle-induced and diet-induced metabolic acidosis, that starts shutting down in a cascade effect. It starts impacting the entire biochemistry of our body, everything from how, hormone receptors are shaped and work, to how our bones are handling, minerals coming in and going out, and how cells are getting rid of toxins, how fat cells are storing toxins in our body and growing. All of those things, pH can play a major role. If our body is being equipped to handle that, great, everything's good. But unfortunately, in today's world, for the masses and for the majority of us, actually about every human, that starts to be affected. And that's what Alkalite's really all about, is supporting our body in one of the true fundamental biochemical needs, which is keeping a balance in pH. So Alkalite is a game changer, and Alkalite in and of itself is one of the most effective things that I've ever seen as far as being a tool to help support that system.
Very, very cool. So moving on really quickly, we'll move on to, of course, the YOLI Essential Shakes. It's so funny. Some people didn't catch that, the YOLI Essential Shakes is the acronym for yes. So if you guys didn't know that, that's a little trivia for you this morning. So let's talk about the YOLI Essential Shakes. I know, I had a chance to fly out to New Zealand just a few months ago to visit New Zealand for a vacation. And we got to see some of these beautiful beautiful landscapes. I mean, the greenest hills that you would ever see, and these just beautiful cows just grazing in the field. And I mean, it's nothing like farmlands that I've seen here in Southern California. And I grew up being told that the happy cows come from California, but I don't know. After coming from New Zealand,
we were lied to.
Yeah, I really feel like those New Zealand cows have it way better than California cows. So, and again, I want to kind of see if you guys can shed a little bit of light on our yes shakes and why it's so powerful. And again, not to just ignore this as just another protein shake, because it's not.
I think you hit on it. I feel like in the realm of whey protein specifically, whey protein in a high quality form, which there's some very specific criteria for that, is a superfood that does so many things. It helps as a sulfur donor to raise super antioxidants like glutathione. It helps our body build through branched chain amino acids. It helps many things. It's something that is a superfood in a high quality form like YOLI has, which means it's non-denatured, cold processed. It's sourced from happy cows, which means that they're grass-fed and hormone free and antibiotic free, that type of thing. As compared to other proteins out in the world, which are not whey protein, if it's heat processed or if it is denatured. I've heard Mike say very well, the body can still utilize it in very specific ways, but it can't become the superfood power that it is. And so even if you just cut it off right there, that makes a big difference. YOLI is one of the few small percentage of high quality whey proteins that are out in the market, and New Zealand whey is the highest quality you can get. Secondly, though, YOLI not only uses high quality whey, it also has a full blend of high caloric value vegetables and things that help herbally protect our body. And it also has a full serving, which we're going to get to when we get to Pure, of a very, very significant high quality probiotic. And when you merge those together, that's like Mike said earlier, a symphony of products in one thing that in and of itself is a superfood and a health food that actually tastes good and that people actually will do and look forward to doing. It's awesome. Really unique.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 of those things within, yes, that there are tribal communities in Africa that utilize that as their sole substance of survival. It's complete protein, complete carbohydrates, complete fat profiles. And we have a whole bunch of them, within that. So outside of it, people look at it and being like, oh, it's a chocolate shake, it's a vanilla shake, but it's a lot more to that. And there's so many studies that's been done on specific things like Ervingia and Cissus quadrangularis that show different efficacies for weight loss, restoring lipid profiles, all of those things. And there are a bunch of them in there, so yes is way more than just a shake.
Angie, anything you want to shed on?
I love the fact, I do a lot with women's healthcare and hormones, but I love it that it's hormone free. It's antibiotic free. Mm-hmm. It's GMO free. It's not been pasteurized. So it doesn't, it's not high heated to kill off the good live enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. It's really just really well put together. It's sweetened with stevia, which is a natural plant-based to give it a good taste. It doesn't have the sucralose or aspartame, some of those harmful chemicals, artificial sweeteners. I like that. The other thing is I enjoy working with neurotransmitters. And when you put good, high quality amino acids in the body, it helps because all your brain chemicals you need, the precursors are good quality amino acids. So, we always say it's our happy shake. Because it helps, just fulfill all of those requirements.
Awesome. That's some really great information. Okay, let's go on from, of course, we covered Athlete, we covered the Yes Shake. The next piece, of course, even in our basic transformation kit, and again, you guys alluded to that a little bit ago, is, of course, our Pure. So I'll start with Mike. You want to go ahead and talk about Pure a little bit here?
Yeah, Pure really differs from a lot of probiotics on the market because you see commercials for stuff like Yakult or, different yogurt strains. And they always talk about, well, we have 10,000, live active culture units and all that fun stuff. And that's great. But the problem that we face with a lot of probiotics, especially the commercially produced probiotics, is that a lot of them don't survive through the stomach acid. So by the time it gets to, or it's supposed to get to, the places that it should colonize, which is your gastrointestinal system, specifically your small intestine and some of your large intestine, nothing's there. And then the other half of it actually gets, excreted out into your toilet. So you got the healthiest toilet on the market. But, when we look at stuff like Pure, it's using what's called a spore form. So what the spore form does is kind of like a seed. And the seed goes in, and when it gets into favorable condition, it turns into whatever it's supposed to turn into. So it's using a specific type of a spore that will withstand the stomach acid and actually needs an acidic environment. So not everything needs an alkaline environment. Something needs an acidic environment.
Mm.
So some people, whenever they look at pure, they're like, I'm going to test the pH of pure, and they find that it's actually acidic, and they get freaked out. And like, no, it actually needs an acidic environment to actually germinate. And then it colonizes and helps to, get rid of all the bad bacteria that's within your gastrointestinal system, rather than just having the stuff that you're getting off of, like a yogurt.
Yeah.
So it's actually clinically studied, and there's so much research behind this kind of stuff.
Very, very cool. And you guys want to add anything to that?
I like it. I like the milk thistle added to it. Milk thistle is awesome for liver support. So this is a beautiful, gentle detoxifier, and it helps to kind of support the liver and purification process. It's also got the prebiotics, which is really important to help feed and nourish the probiotics and also the intestinal system. It's great. It's great for so many health issues. Long before YOLI ever came into my practice, I was putting patients, almost every patient I would recommend to get on a good probiotic, because the thing that you guys got to realize is the food quality today has changed.
Yeah.
So many antibiotics added to so many different food sources that it's ripping people's guts up, and there's so many chemicals and preservatives added to people's just food, and the stress level is so high that you need to support the digestive system. Really, it's critical these days if you want to see a change in your health. And also it's the second brain of the body. So when you start fixing the body or the gut, it starts fixing your mind and your brain.
Yeah.
And it makes you happier, and it helps with that. And also there again with hormones, the better your digestive system works, it helps eliminate those extra estrogens out of your body and the extra hormone loads. So, you got to get that gut working.
Awesome. So here, Aaron, I'm going to hand you off to talk about passion real quick. I have here like 3 different flavors. And again, I don't know if you want to also piggyback on thermal burn while you're doing this, but I'm going to hand you off to this. And if you can give us a little overview on passion and thermal burn, that would be awesome.
Well, I always say everybody likes passion. Passion's great. And there's a lot of dumb adolescent jokes that I could throw out there, but I won't do that right now. I feel like passion is often misunderstood because it tastes so amazing, and it's such an amazing substitute for soda and energy drinks, and because people fall in love with it and it literally changes their life, and they assume that it's the caffeine that's what's giving them everything in passion. So passion is a B vitamin energy drink. It is meant to substitute things like soda and all of those things, and it's amazing at doing that, to the point where I can't even think of the thousands of people I've worked with, even one person that struggled to quit drinking soda as a result of passion. But really what makes passion special is its B vitamin complex, and B vitamins are important for neurologically how we function, protecting our nerves, supporting our nervous system, supporting a lot of our endocrine system, which is our hormones, especially our stress hormones from our adrenal glands. B vitamins are necessary for how our liver detoxifies our body. And then a lot of times stimulant-based things do a lot of good things from a metabolic standpoint. They help us be more efficient metabolically and things like that. But then they also can cause a stress response. And the unique thing when you combine high-quality B vitamins with green tea-based and herbal-based, the caffeine part of YOLI is what I call a soft caffeine, meaning that green tea-based caffeine has the amino acid L-theanine associated with it. So it ends up being its own adaptogen, to the point where it won't have the same stimulatory effect on your nervous system and on your hormones as, say, soda or a coffee or a whatever thing out there. But it still gives you the energy. So that's why people can have a obvious boost of energy, but without the buzz and without the crash. It's really a powerful part of a transformation kit, and it's the reason people love it so much is it's something that they notice and something that will really change for them.
Awesome. Well, I think you answered a great question on the type of energy that we get, because that's a very common thing that we hear from a lot of people. They say, hey, look, I feel the energy, but I don't get the crash or like the jitters that I do with, let's say, like a energy drink or a soda. And I think you explained that very, very well. Any of you guys want to kind of touch on thermal burn or passion?
It also makes the transition for a lot of people who are frequent coffee drinkers.
Mhm.
It makes that transition going into a transformation kit a lot easier, because that's one of the fears I know a lot of people have is, hey, I've been drinking coffee all this time and now I'm gonna have to get off of it. Am I gonna feel terrible by getting on the transformation kit? And what a lot of people find out is that, what, they don't even miss a step by getting on a tea kit. They don't miss their coffee. It fits right in there for them.
I heard a mind-boggling statistic. There was a young lady that we were working with in California who is an avid Starbucks drinker. And after the completion of, back in 2016, when she finished her first year on YOLI, of course, after her transformation kit, she got on the passion products. She basically cut out all of Starbucks out of her lifestyle. And she said her annual savings, and again, this is kind of mind-blowing, the annual savings in Starbucks alone was over $3,600
Wow.
for Starbucks drinks. I mean, because we don't think about it. I mean,
You could have bought her own Starbucks franchise for that.
$5 to $6, maybe $8 a visit, and you start to add that up. It's 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes maybe once or twice a day. I mean, you extrapolate that and $3,600. And so she took that money that she used to spend on Starbucks and treated herself to a nice vacation at the end of the year instead. So not only is she better looking, she's healthier, she's happier, and she got a vacation out of it. So I thought that was a win-win-win scenario. It's awesome.
I want to add one thing with the passion. I like it. I like the GABA in it, and that helps with focus and concentration. So a lot of people, they have trouble focusing at work or, with just whatever they have to do. So it's a great drink and beverage. Or if you're doing the thermal burn, which is exactly like the passion, except it doesn't have the sweetener in it. So if you do have somebody who doesn't like the taste of stevia or whatever, do the thermal burn. It's exactly the same, and it's also got a few of the raspberry ketones in that formula. But it's designed for the same. But if you have anybody who needs help with focus, it's great.
Yeah. Hey, here's a parenting tip to all you parents out there. When my daughters go through finals weeks, passion is like their best friend. I mean, it helps keep them up, because they're oftentimes doing their late night study sessions, but it keeps their mind alert, clean, and again, like you said, Angie, focused. They're not getting distracted by the 5 million other stressors that are kind of going through their heads during finals week. So my girls absolutely love passion during finals week. So that's awesome. Okay, going on real quickly, let's talk about fun. Anybody want to sort of field fun?
I like fun. I like to have fun.
Absolutely.
Have fun.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's like throwback from about 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so fun is great because it's got the branched chain amino acids. It's great for athletes, you guys. So for those recoveries or during the summer, it's got the electrolytes, which are great. But going back to the branched chain amino acids, it help repair like the muscle breakdown when you are working out. So those amino acids help with that recovery. And also it's a great way, you guys, there is 1 serving of alkalite in every serving of fun. So I always tell parents it's a great way to sneak in alkalite to your child to, put that pH enhancement into your child's body. So it's a great replacement for athletic sports drinks, or just a drink without even athletic issues.
Yeah, and it's surprising. I mean, obviously watching the pH demo and other videos, watching how acidic these sort of sports beverages are. I mean, they're marketed so well to make it feel like every athlete needs Gatorade or Powerade, and you realize this stuff is like really junk. And so, Fun's a really, really great product. I know we were kind of talking about like it's great for people that have kids and stuff like that. But Mike, Aaron, I know both of you guys have backgrounds in sports. Why is this great also for like athletes, people that are working out? I mean, what recommendations can you give for people on applications like that as well?
There's so many aspects that you can get into with athletes, but what I tell all my athletes is just try it. You'll notice it on your first workout. I had this one female athlete, and she combined both passion and fun, during her workout. And she said that she would often hit the wall at about the 35-minute mark, and she was going for an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. An hour and a half of doing her regular workout that she would have hit the wall at about 35 minutes. And she said, one, she felt, the amazing energy that was kind of obvious. But two was more so the recovery. And that's one thing for athletes is the recovery session. And recovery means that you can actually go back to performing at 100% capacity, not where you're not sore any longer. It's going back to where you can actually perform at competitive levels. And a lot of my athletes notice that their recovery time has been cut in half.
Yeah.
So, chalk it up to having some fun.
Yeah.
I would just like to add, I think everybody should try combining fun and passion. That would be good.
Boy.
But that was,
Yes.
but I will say, really from a high level sports supplement and not a, 12-year-old boy joke, it really is something that matters. And a lot of people don't get this. Even athletes get this wrong. So what I love about fun from a sports supplement, it combines a lot of what we said. So with athletes, we're looking to extend the time they can compete or train to exhaustion, meaning that they can train harder longer, and shorten the amount of time, like Dr. Mike said, to recover back to where they can do that same thing again. And we're looking at right away, it's giving us hydration. So obviously we mix it with water. We're getting a good source of hydration. It's giving us branched chain amino acids in a root form. So a lot of people don't realize this. When you're training or competing, your body is all sympathetic. All your resources are out and about. Your stomach is not able to digest food while you're training. And that's why these branched chain amino acids are so amazing. They don't need to be digested. They just absorb. So your body can utilize those for protein synthesis, for all the other things that we use that for. Plus, it has alkali. So it's right at that level. It's helping our buffer systems buffer that lactic acid buildup, which is what muscle fatigue is. So it's hammering that right away. And then it's replenishing the electrolytes that we're losing while we're training. So it's in that one thing, it's giving you all of that. And that's why people can get that obvious result that they're seeing. And this is a high level thing, even though it's an amazing Gatorade substitute, just for other people who drink Gatorade. If you're a true athlete looking to perform at a high level, there's nothing better that I've seen out there that combines all of that together in one.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's move on really quickly. Let's talk about truth. Anybody want to feel truth? I know it's the winter season now. It's starting to get cold. And so, we're starting to see the sniffles and the coughs. Like, what's so amazing about, by the way, this happens to be one of my favorite products in YOLI. What's so amazing about truth?
Truth tastes good.
Yeah.
It tastes like Tang.
It does, right? And that's something that, especially because of what it does, it's great for kids, because kids are the ones, they're bringing home all kinds of stuff from school, and getting them to, if you were try to get them to take the stuff that's within truth by itself, I mean, it's next to impossible. And I like to equate it to like something like emergency, or, stuff that people are familiar with, these so-called immune boosters, which you actually don't necessarily boost your immune system, but you support your immune system. There's all kinds of different things that people know about, like vitamin C and all of those immune supporters. And it's something that you can take very easily, and it tastes good, and, I mean, I use it all throughout the year. I do it on a daily basis. So it's part of my everyday regimen.
Awesome. Anybody else want to add to it?
I think it's great. Like, if you guys have anybody who can't do caffeine for whatever reason, if they can't do the passion, or it's great for, there's tons of people. I know that, we're not supposed to make claims, but like, it's great for pregnant or nursing moms, because all it is vitamins, minerals. There's no caffeine in it. It's great for kids. It's a beautiful lineup of the vitamins and the super, the antioxidants.
Yeah, and there's everybody kind of know or heard of resveratrol. Like, it was made popular because people were saying, oh, it's because people were drinking wine that it was decreasing heart disease and all that kind of stuff. So people started saying, oh, it's the resveratrol found in red wine. So people started getting hooked on wine and started going overboard on that. But what they found later on was that there's another component which is actually more, efficient than resveratrol, which is called pterostilbene. And we have a lot of that within Truth. And a lot of people don't really know what pterostilbene sounds like. A dinosaur or something like that, something out of Jurassic Park. But it basically, look at it like the big brother to resveratrol. So instead of you getting like one bottle of red wine, it's like equating like 5 bottles of red wine without having to drink the wine and get drunk.
Awesome.
I would be hammered if I drank 5 bottles of red wine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the health benefits will offset all the other non-benefits.
Exactly.
5 bottles of wine.
I would just say one thing on Truth, because I think it fits Truth best. One of the main reasons YOLI is so impactful is that it focuses on substitution versus sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because sacrifice isn't sustainable for any of us. I mean,
Sure.
Why would you want to? And so substitution, Truth is amazing. It helps substitute from the sugary, all the drinks that we all like and kids like, and it's a healthy alternative to those things, fruit juice and Sunny D's and all those things. But like these two said, it is giving us all this extra super nutrition while we're doing it. And so it's just really a foundational key. And you can drink as much of it as you want while doing a transformation kit. It won't affect your weight loss or your results. Will actually add to them. And so it's really a win-win-win. And I think it's an excellent thing to add in with most transformation kits. People get bored with just water alone.
Awesome. Speaking of course, Truth, we'll go ahead and bring in our other sort of immune boosting sort of product. Let's go and talk about Defend. And if any of you guys want to field Defend.
Mike, why don't you go with your SWAT team? That's the best one, man.
Defend. I love Defend for what it does, as far as a higher level immunostimulant, and that's essentially what it is. Contains a whole plethora of these medicinal mushrooms, not magical mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms. All these things like colostrum and things that support the immune system. And the way I look at it is like Truth is kind of like your everyday like mall cop, street cop that's roaming the streets and saying, hey, look, there's somebody bad. Let me call in reinforcements. That's what Truth does. And then Defend is like the SWAT team. It's like when, it notices, hey, these guys are like, it's the Joker robbing the bank. We need to call in the SWAT team. So it calls in all the big guns and, turns on the bat signal, and Batman comes flying in with all the, crazy things. And it helps to get the job done. Mm-hmm. The problem though is what I see a lot of people running into is that they always want to call the SWAT team in, mm-hmm. And you don't necessarily need to do that, because then you're going to, waste precious resources within your body. Mm-hmm. The Truth, I love it on an everyday basis. Defend is when you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like to turn the bat sign on every single day.
Yeah.
So it's something that when you need it, it always works. I mean, it always works.
Yes.
So
awesome.
That's my spiel on it.
Cool.
I also think it's great. It's got the Echinacea, astragalus. Those are some pretty powerful, immune boosters. It's got the Ganoderm, which mm-hmm. is a powerful, blend for all of the immune system. So a lot of people have heard of Echinacea, and this actually has it in it. It's also got the blend of all the mushrooms. So there's been tons of research on health benefits for years and years on the benefits of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
The good mushrooms.
I want to just say one quick thing, because obviously Defend is an immune support supplement and it is a SWAT team, and that's how you use it. But all the ingredients in Defend, the medicinal mushrooms, the shiitakes, the Ganodermas, all of those, and the astragalus, and the colostrum, and the echinacea are also just very strong stress modulators in our body, very, very well done health promoters and many other things. And so using Defend every day is not appropriate, but using it occasionally and cycling through it, even when you don't feel you're needing an immune system boost to kind of help your body just metabolically go up a couple notches is a good way I like to use it. And we'll, even from weight loss plateaus or some other health plateaus, throwing Defend in a targeted way over the course of a couple weeks or a month with the ingredients in Defend, really powerful too.
Very cool. Very
Perfect.
cool. All right. Let's go ahead and pair up these guys. Our vitamin and mineral, we launched this as kind of a pairing. Can someone kind of go through our Better Body vitamins and minerals?
I love the minerals. I think they're great. There again, we're not making health claims, but they are great for especially like thyroid support because it's got the zinc, it's got the selenium, which are really necessary for proper thyroid function. You know, that's just a straight up medical fact. And it's got the vandalate sulfate, which is really good for blood sugar support.
Mm-hmm.
So these are great for people who have, I mean, everybody needs because of the stress, because of the lifestyle. So if you're not on vitamins and minerals, but these are great for if you got some higher level issues going on, add them. Or if you have, same with the vitamins, it's got the ubiquinol, which is a more powerful source of CoQ10. It's got a great cardiac lineup of support, and there's also lutein in there, so it's great for eye health. So it's more than just your average vitamin and mineral.
Very, very cool. So heart health, eye health, I mean, thyroid support. I mean, this is good stuff. You know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, I grew up, you know, unfortunately, my parents not knowing better, I grew up on Flintstones vitamins. So I was always taught that at least a vitamin mineral supplement is something we should probably foundationally use. And I think you guys would all agree this is definitely a foundational product, correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. Anything else you guys want to add on the vitamin mineral here really quickly?
I would just say quickly, the need for supplements in general, especially foundational supplements like YOLI, is the world we live in, like we said, is requiring so many more resources just to keep our head above water. And the food sources we have available to us are so much less nutrient dense than they were just a generation ago.
Yeah.
Good multivitamin mineral is a must just from a basic support. And it's not that minerals cure thyroid or anything like that. It's that our body is supposed to be getting those things from food. And if we have them, then our body functions normally. But in our world today, we're deficient in all of those things we're supposed to have. And that's where multivitamin minerals really matter. And the way they're formulated with YOLI is really, really well done with a lot of attention to the basic details, like higher level vitamin D with the appropriate K2, like ubiquinol, like the plantiox. You're actually getting the phytonutrients from plants, not just the extracted vitamins. And with the chelated minerals, it really matters that they're chelated because our body needs to see them as a food source, as if we got those minerals from food, not that we just picked up a rock and ate it, because our body won't be able to absorb that or utilize it. So just across the board foundational needs, these are very well done, and that's why we need good multivitamin, multi-mineral.
Awesome. Let's go on to our omegas here really quickly.
Oh,
Street, you want to do omegas?
Sure. I think omegas are another very foundational thing. And again, it's not because omegas are some natural cure for anything. It's that our body is supposed to have omegas, and our Western culture diets are just woefully deficient in omega-3s. When it comes to the types of fats, it's more ratios. So you need the equal amount of omega-3s to the omega-6s in order for things to work. And if that ratio gets off, that's where the health issues, the inflammation issues, the heart issues, the brain issues, the immune system issues, all those things happen. It's not that omegas help those, it's that ratio. The trouble is everything we're eating today with all the grain oils and all of those things, most of the food we eat with the fats we have are driving us away from our omegas are way down here, and we're way overdoing the other fats, so that ratio is off. And as such, you know, that's a big contributor to this huge epidemic of chronic illness that we're having. So omegas come in by, we need to take omegas to even out that ratio. And that's why omegas are just a profoundly foundational part of what people need to do from a health standpoint.
Awesome. And you also got to figure that your entire body, you know, the 100 trillion cells that your body's made out of is all fat based, you know, and every cell has this layer that will let things in and keep things out, and it's all made out of fat. And if you don't have the proper fat within those cells, then you can't get the right nutrients in, and you can't get the toxic waste out. So, you know, having stuff like an omega, you know, and supplementing with that, having a great diet is very, very important for cellular health.
Cool.
And one final thing I'll say, just for women who, if you guys have hot flashes, it's great for, you know, that would be one of those things that I would add for the hormone lineup is essential fatty acids. Good amounts of fatty acids are great for hot flashes and hormone issues.
Awesome. Made me think of one last thing, Angie, because healthy fats are also anti-fat gaining, meaning they're anti-lipogenic. So if you're sufficient in healthy fats like omega-3s, you're going to actually decrease the amount of fat that you put on your body. And for athletes, it's going to help with the inflammation recovery side. It helps activate a thing called the mTOR pathway, which is how muscle cells synthesize and grow. So omegas are just across the board spectrum, whether you're trying to lose weight, trying to get healthy, or trying to gain performance. They're a component that you need to consider.
Awesome. Tons of great content on omegas. Mike, you want to field enzymes? I know you get pretty excited about enzymes, so if you can share a little bit on the benefits of the YOLI enzymes.
So enzymes, you know, digestion is paramount to optimal health, because you could be eating the greatest diet in the world, but if you're not breaking it down to its smallest components and usable components, it's useless. So enzymes powers your entire body, right? So it's like these little guys that will kind of motivate the things like vitamins and minerals. It'll motivate them to work more efficiently. It speeds up processes in your body. Like if you didn't have enzymes, a lot of the chemical process in your body would take like 1,000 years to happen. And you don't got that kind of time, right? So enzymes help with that portion, which is called the metabolic pool. Then we also have what's called the digestive pool, which is what most people think about for enzymes to break food down. So the digestive enzymes is a broad spectrum enzyme, so it digests both fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, and also other certain things, but you know, your main macronutrients, so that you can utilize them and actually extract and assimilate the nutrients that you're eating. Mm-hmm. And then also it takes the burden off of, you know, stealing from the metabolic pool, so you're not sacrificing brain function to digest, you know, the spinach that you just ate. So that, you know, as you age, also your amount of digestive enzymes decreases, and you got to figure throughout your entire lifetime, you're going to eat somewhere between 40 to 50 tons of food, and that has to be digested efficiently, right? Yeah. And you know, whenever I treat patients, that's the first place we always start is digestion, because if your digestion is off, everything else is going to be off.
Yeah, and Andrew was referring to that, right? That's all part of that gut health, right?
Yeah,
that's the second brain. So, I mean, it's so amazing how many of our products focus on the gut. And so I think, you know, they kind of always say success leaves clues. I think our products also leave clues. Like this is where you need to really address your health. So that's awesome. We're down to actually, we got 3 more culprits here. Let's talk about Flex. Anybody want to field the YOLI Flex joint supplements? Let's go with Aaron. I'm looking at who looks most nervous, and I'm going to say you.
Why does Aaron keep putting his picture on there?
Sorry, guys. So for Flex is one of my favorites for multiple reasons. First of all, for me personally, because I'm a ex-athlete and somebody who's just destroyed my body through having fun and competing for my whole life. And so Flex as a joint supplement is something I love because it combines pretty much everything you want in a joint supplement. It has a side that's going to deal with the inflammation side of the joint. So when you think about joint injury, irritation, arthritis, it has a couple components. It has wear and tear, damage of the cartilage and the synovial tissues of the joint. And it also has a chemical factor of irritation, which then plays back into that. So with Flex, we're dealing with, it has the bromelain, it has the ginger, the boswellia, the proteolytic enzymes, which help put the fire out with an inflamed joint. And then it also has the glucosamine, the chondroitin, the hyaluronic acid, the silica, the D-acetyl glucosamine that help build. So in one point, you're putting out the fire and you're starting to give the building blocks and stimulate the cellular activity to start repairing. And so it's a double win. What makes it great for joint tissues at a synovial level also makes it a very effective general health supplement, again, going back to the gut, in that a lot of the same things that we utilize to put out inflammation and repair at a joint, Same thing happens within our gut and mucosal lining, which again helps with the whole thing we've been talking about, which is gut health, which leads to and in many ways impacts the rest of our health. So Flex is a high level joint supplement and a high level gut supplement, in my opinion.
Wow, very, very cool. All right, let's go down to Dream. Angie, you want to take care of Dream?
I love Dream, you guys. This is really good because it's got the melatonin, so that's great to support the sleep. Melatonin is actually a hormone released by our pineal gland to support sleep cycles and just getting into that deeper sleep, so it's great for that. But it's also great for stress, you guys. When we have adequate amount of melatonin, which works with the hormone pathways, it also has a lot to do with how you, the whole entire endocrine system, but it's got 5-HTP. 5-HTP is your precursor to serotonin. So there again, a lot of people have heard of the word serotonin, and when you have depression, anxiety, things like that, it can be a brain imbalance. And when you take good support and you give your body what it's replacing, it's going to help with things like that. So it's a great stress support. It's great for, again, I think like sleep, hormone. If you're having some of those issues, just try it. You'll either like it or you'll either feel it or not, but it's for a lot of those issues.
Mike, how important is proper sleep to weight loss and being on a transformation system?
Well, you got to figure, your body's in two states. During the day, it's what's called catabolic state. So it's like breaking things down. And then you need an anabolic state where your body's building back up. So it's kind of like, if you guys remember Fraggle Rock, you had those guys that would build all those little things, right? They're building things, and then Fraggle Rock would come along and eat them up. That's what's happening on your body every single day. And if you don't get enough sleep and you don't offset that cycle of breaking your body down, you are going to break down faster than you are building back up.
Yeah.
And also, as you age, that amount that you're able to build back up decreases. So you're going to need to have that optimal sleep. Now, it's not necessarily just the quantity of sleep, but it's also the quality, because you can get 8 hours of sleep, but if you never get into what's called rapid eye movement, when your brain is actually going into a state where you're actually able to secrete the hormones like human growth hormone, then you could be getting 8 hours of worthless sleep. And what Dream does, and it does clinical studies on this, is it gets you into sleep faster and it keeps you in REM sleep way longer. So sometimes people will say, well, I only got 6 hours of sleep on Dream, but I feel more rested on it. And that's because you're getting more REM sleep than you typically were without it.
Got it. Awesome information. All right. And our newest product, of course, and one of the more popular products right now in our lineup right now is, of course, our YOLI Lean Greens. Okay, so let's go ahead and tackle this. I'm sure you guys all probably have your own input on Lean Greens. Let's start with Aaron. You want to give your little 2 cents on Lean Greens?
Yeah, I mean, green supplement is necessary. Most of the research is showing somewhere between 8 and 13 servings of vegetables are necessary to just sustain health in our culture. And I myself, I wish I did. I don't eat that many a day, and I know most of you listening to this don't either, if you're being truthful. So just that one thing alone, helping us support the needs of our body from a nutrition basis, is really important. And so I know this is stealing this quote from Dr. Mike, and I've seen it in many other places. Just eating enough vegetable servings a day decreases all known cause of mortality by like 40% or something like that. So that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
But then you get to add in the superfood blends with YOLI, and everybody else is going to talk about them too. When we have the blue-green algae, and we have the super adaptogens, help our body really handle stress, help us break through plateaus in our weight loss, help us overcome that energy lull that we have as we age, help us overcome some of the hormonal disruption issues we have. The greens are, in my opinion, a game changer. I think everybody should do them, and I use them personally every day, and so does everybody in my family, and they're awesome.
Very, very cool. Angie?
Yeah. Can't say enough about them. I do about 2 to 3 servings a day. I love it. It's just straight nutrition. It's, I grew up on a farm in Iowa with organic vegetables and garden everywhere. So I love the vegetables. And fruit. I love the spirulina, the chlorella, you know, it's just straight up solid nutrition. It's great for their, again, hormones. It's great for, you know, gut health. It's just, I take it because, number one, it tastes great.
Yeah.
Number two, I know that I'm further alkalizing my body because, like we said in the very beginning, lots and lots of greens is how we traditionally would alkalize without anything.
Yeah.
And just, it's straight up nutrition.
Awesome. Awesome. And Mike?
You know, like going back to simplicity, I have a lot of patients, you know, living in Orange County. They're big on juicing. You know, people are like, you know, I want to do the latest and greatest juicing fad. And juicing's great, but a lot of people don't juice properly. And, you know, they mix in all of the crazy things that will make the juice actually taste good, which is high in sugars. So you're getting this high sugar content and it's actually not doing your body that good. And also, you know, if you wanted to do this specific blend and trying to gather up all the different ingredients and juicing it yourself, it's next to impossible. And it's really expensive. So, you know, having it in this convenient form where all you got to do is put a scoop in and then you can take it anywhere and drink it anytime that you want. It was very, very convenient. So, you know, everybody knows the value of eating fruits and vegetables. But a lot of people, what they don't really understand is that you can have the mindset that you want to eat all those fruits and vegetables, but I can guarantee you that nobody's going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's like people, I treat patients who have lung cancer and they know that the smoking caused them lung cancer, but yet they don't want to give that up until something can substitute that and make it easier. And that's all, you know, as human beings, we're lazy. You know, we want the quick, easy fix. You know, we live in the Amazon, you know, 2-hour prime delivery days where you look at lean greens is we're satisfying that, but we're tricking you into being healthy at the same time.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So guys, thank you so much, obviously, for going through the whirlwind of products with us this morning. What we're going to do is I have a couple key questions. I'm going to just ask a couple of these just for time-specific purposes. Again, like I said, let's go through Aaron, I think you talked about this, but I want to ask you again. You know, there's a lot of people, of course, you know, whether it's for resolutions or for weight loss challenges or just maybe just part of a new sort of commitment to their own health, or as brand new members of YOLI are people that are getting started on Transformation Kit. They have this idea and this desire to transform their body, whether it's through weight loss or health gain. Why is it important for people to understand that YOLI is not just about weight loss, meaning why is it important for people who are, let's say, skinny like myself, or people who are already healthy eaters or athletes? Why is it important that YOLI becomes part of their life regardless of what your body shape or condition is in?
That's great. And I'll just start by saying what I really feel YOLI is. It's a health gain system with the side effect of weight loss, the side effect of performance, the side effect of the other things we're wanting. So as you're losing weight, the reason you're doing that is because your body's getting to a point from a health perspective where it's ready to shed that weight. So I'd like to start with that. It really is a health system first, and the weight loss is just a side effect for some people of becoming healthy. The reason I think it's important to understand that weight isn't the problem is to really understand the science of where we're going to. And there's a couple key points. First of all, they're getting to a point where they're starting to see a huge increase of a thing called metabolically obese normal weight, or TOFI, which means thin on the outside, fat on the inside, which basically is somebody who appears trim and fit, could be an elite athlete, could be somebody who's just skinny, but internally their biochemistry is disrupted. And that group of people, which is about 25% of the population of the entire United States, so it's like about 80 million people, give or take a few million probably. Basically, that group of people is at the highest risk factor of a mortality rate if they get a chronic illness. So it's just driving home that point that skinny doesn't necessarily equal healthy and fit doesn't necessarily equal healthy. Conversely, you can't be overweight and truly be healthy. And what they're finding, and what they used to just blame everything on, is if you were overweight, if you were fat, that caused this, that caused that. Just lose weight and you're good. What they're finding now is that being overweight is just another way a human's body will manifest ill health. So some people, it manifests it in other ways, and in some people they gain weight. So how does that apply to what YOLI is about? YOLI is about foundational biochemistry, foundational health, and foundational lifestyle. And what that means is, as you're going through the YOLI process, your body's going to be changing in multiple ways. Like we said, gut health, oxidative stress, pH, hormone metabolism, adrenal health. And as that starts to happen, if you're overweight, your body's going to start changing some of the metabolic processes to allow you to shed weight to a point where you're healthy. And that can happen very quickly and very efficiently. And it's also why it's healthy to lose weight that fast. If you're skinny and not healthy, it's going to start repairing some of the damage that's done and righting the ship that way. So you may lean up, you may gain muscle, you certainly will expect to feel better and have more energy and all of those things. And if you're an elite athlete who's already doing all this amazing stuff, the thing that I think makes YOLI really special is it adds in a couple things that people don't do well at all, and that's pH support and timing of how you regulate food intake into your body. And so it's allowing you to get lean. And lean matters for athletes especially. So body fat composition wise, you're going to be, the weight you do lose, or just in your chemistry, you're going to be losing fat, gaining lean mass, restoring a lot of things to your body. So that was a long-winded answer, but I think that's really important to understand because I see it all the time. Oh, I'm already eating healthy. Yeah, you might be doing a few things well, but you're not covering the bases. And that's what YOLI does. It uses supplements for what supplements should be used for, to supplement the gaps that we're having in our diet. It's teaching us not only the quality of food matters, but also the timing of food and how that matters and how to change that over time. And that's where the impact of YOLI comes from. It's merging in that symphony, like Dr. Mike, I love that analogy, man. It's a symphony, it's a synergy of putting these things together. And it doesn't matter if you're overweight wanting to lose weight. It doesn't matter if you're skinny wanting to be healthy. It doesn't matter if you already think you're healthy, or if you're somebody who's trying to increase performance. It is appropriate, and in those circumstances is going to make a dent and have a high likelihood of helping you attain those goals.
Very, very cool. Angie, real quick for you, if somebody is going through their transformation program and hits a sort of a stall or a plateau in weight loss or their transformation, can you give us a few tips on things that they can do to maybe jumpstart or take a look at what might be causing that issue?
Yeah, just keep in mind, you guys, it's a lifestyle change, and some of you guys might be struggling with things that you've had for years. So everybody's body is different. It could be age related, it could be medical history related, it could be that you're on medications. So be very careful, first of all, not to compare yourself to other people, because this is truly your journey, and I want you to honor your journey.
Yeah.
But I would say a great thing that you could do is just really make sure that you're looking at the labels. Like if you are eating yogurt, make sure that you're not doing the YoPlay Light or things like that have the sugar or the fruit added, especially like on protein days. Make sure that you're not getting involved with a lot of the protein bars. A lot of times those have hidden sugars, especially the artificial sugars. Make sure that you're eating enough, and also make sure that you guys aren't skipping your mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks. A lot of people think, oh, if I, skip those snacks, I'll lose more. And that's not the case. The other thing is, with the greens, this is a great thing to try to add in. Like we just said, if you are deficient in, nutrients, that's a great one to add in. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. That's super common that people are stalled out because they're just not getting good sleep. If the dream doesn't work, you have to really do some digging and find out what's going on. I mean, you have 3 chiropractors on board, and I'm telling you, just even getting your nervous system turned back on a lot of times can get your body working. So there's all different things to think about. Make sure a lot of times just adding in the enzymes also will help assist in the digestive process, especially because you are eating a lot of higher protein.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I hear that a lot with everybody suddenly, taking in all their protein snacks, their protein shakes. People feel bloated or a little gassy, and I know enzymes can be a sort of a savior to that. So, Mike, really quickly to you, we get some objections with people. I mean, we know that Alkali, our body pH product, is our flagship product, but people often say, well, can't I just take like Tums or antacids, or can't I, my mom or my parents have a alkaline water machine? Why are these things not the same as Alkali and what YOLI offers?
So in theory, they on paper, they look the same, but within your body, they do some different things. So let's take Tums, for example. Tums actually works. It's an antacid. It does exactly what it needs to do. It neutralizes stomach acid. Taking baking soda as well neutralizes stomach acid and all that kind of stuff. But we're not necessarily concerned about neutralizing stomach acid. We're more concerned about giving the body what's called your alkaline reserves and restoring your alkaline reserves, which typically comes from your bones, your tendons, your ligaments, and those kind of things you don't necessarily want to deplete, right? I mean, who wants to have broken bones at the expense of, having a perfect pH level, right? So, and your body actually does that. It creates a lot of porous bones, which we know as osteoporosis. But when we look at stuff like alkaline water, for example, I always say, look at nature for your clues, on on how to live, right? Like if it doesn't happen in nature, then I wouldn't necessarily partake of it. And so, for example, alkaline water, when I first was introduced to this, I mean, the concept is amazing. Concept is great. Except there's a couple problems. Is one, you don't find water like that in nature. Right? It's rare to find a river with these electrodes placed in them and electrocuting the water and splitting, your hydrogen and oxygen. You don't necessarily find that. And there's a couple problems that you run into with an alkaline water machine. One is that water actually has a shape. It has a form to it. And it's what we call polar, right? One side is positive, one side is negative. And H2O tend to cluster together. And that's naturally what happens in nature. But when you start putting an electrical charge through it, you start changing the shape of that. So your body actually doesn't recognize it on a cellular and energetic level, what that actually is. So it's kind of like you're presenting, it's like you go on a date and you present this guy who's actually a girl, right? It's like it doesn't present the exact same way. And what happens with water, when it gets to your cell and it's not presented the correct way, your body doesn't utilize it as effective as it should be. Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at alkaline water in nature, the way that it's alkalized is through minerals. Mm. That's exactly what we're doing with alkali. So we're using the same process that nature does, and we're putting it in an easy and simple form for you to consume, mm-hmm. right? So now for me, I still have patients that will use baking soda. We use baking soda. It's a sodium bicarbonate. You naturally produce sodium bicarbonate in your body, in your pancreas. But as far as it having the same effects as alkali, it doesn't have the same effects, because alkali, if you really get down to the microscopic level, it's these little granules that have all of these hydroxides attached on the outside. And when it gets into circulation, it actually releases all these little hydroxides that are attached to it. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't necessarily happen with a sodium bicarbonate or a Tums supplement. It doesn't get into and passing those barriers of the stomach acid and your gastrointestinal system. Mm. So that's initially what it was designed for, and what really sets it apart. Now, I don't want to downplay alkaline water machines, by the way, because I know there's a lot of people that still use them. We actually still use it, for the acidic water. And the acidic water is actually really good for cleaning. People use vinegar for cleaning. Good for your skin, because your skin needs to be acidic. Mm-hmm. So it's really great in that aspect, but I don't necessarily, I don't tell people to actually drink the alkaline water coming from an ionized alkaline water machine. Mm.
Well, guys, I mean, look, it's been a wonderful hour spending with you guys, going through this, full array of products, as well as these sort of really great nuggets of wisdom from you guys. And I know you guys have busy practices to get back to as soon as possible. So I want to, number one, appreciate you guys and thank you guys for your time. I know, again, everyone viewing this video has probably gotten a ton of notes out of this. So once again, we appreciate all that you guys do, not only for us, but of course, all of YOLI Nation. Hopefully this will be the first of maybe many sort of collaborative videos that we can do for YOLI Nation. I'm excited to kind of see the lives that we'll be impacting in this year ahead. And I'm excited to kind of go out there and transform lives with people like you guys. And once again, just thank you so much for what you guys do. I appreciate it, guys. Let's have a great year, and let's go transform more lives. Thanks. God bless, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.